How many of you would believe me that a kid once lit his classmate on fire because he thought he had the same magical powers as a character from World of Warcraft? Well, it's true according to Ernest Cavalli from Wired.com. I'm sure that most of you sitting here today have played some sort of violent video game and can relate to how they can bring negative effects upon kids. I have played plenty of violent video games in my day to know how it can reflect bad on kids. Now, although it's just a violent video game, the violence from the games reflects badly on children's behavior, and companies should consider this by advertising this along with their commercials. Video game violence has triggered more aggressive behavior, higher tolerance for violence, and ADHD-related behaviors. The main effect from violent video games is aggressive behavior, and that's what I'm going to talk about first. According to Dave Grossman from Times.com, he claims that violent video games are murder simulators that train kids to kill, coming from a military perspective. An answer to this dispute is parents should enforce the rating system and take into consideration of what they're buying their kids can bring negative effects upon them. Another effect from violent video games is higher tolerance for real-life violence. All of the fighting, blood, and shooting inspires kids to think it is cool, which it is not if it were to happen in real life. But most kids don't understand this because understand the difference between virtual and reality, which allows their tolerance to be higher because they're more used to seeing violence. It is said that violence in video games can lead to ADHD behaviors. In an article written by Sane Nicholin, a genetic survey was done to 1,600 Dutch kids of the ages 5 through 9 who played violent video games for long periods of time, and the kids with the gene of polymorphism were susceptible, and the kids without the gene to have increased ADHD-related behaviors versus the kids who didn't have the gene. And this kid is a prime example of why video games can be negative, have negative effects.
I want to get points!
Alright, dude, you come to his house and all.
Yeah, really, like, what are you doing?
I want to play, because I'm not allowed to play at my house, because I play too long, so I play here. I don't even play long anyway.
Dude, yo, you came over because you said that you were going to help me out with my project.
Freaking Xbox sucks!
Dude.
These controllers suck! I hate this! Why this button switch? It's supposed to resemble a trigger button?
Just give me this.
Get off me! My
Dude, you
God!
gotta take a break, dude.
Dude, you need to stop. Just stop.
So that's a prime example of why they can bring negative effects. Video games should consider the effects and state that as a warning to parents in their gaming advertisements, which will help parents to consider that what they buy for their kids is violent. The counter-argument says that video games are not an inspiration to kids, according to video game developer Randy Pitchford. He claims that the more violence the game is, the more understanding of real-life violence we will face and take into consideration. As to this argument, I believe that what he claims doesn't even matter, because most kids don't even consider the fact between virtual and reality violence. They'll just use the game as fuel to act aggressive. Pitchford quotes, "The Sandy Hook shootings are just the start of it," unquote. So based on the three effects from video game violence, I can definitely say that it now makes sense that video game violence has this effect on kids based on aggressive behavior, higher tolerance for real-life violence, and ADHD-related behaviors. I hope you people in this room today are more skeptical of the effects video game violence can bring upon kids. I believe that any sane kid wouldn't light someone on fire because of a video game inspired them so much. So as you can see, it is a proven fact that video games do have a violent effect on negative kids.